Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah YAHAWASHI, Barakatah Yahawah, Barakatah YAHAWASHI. All praises to Yahawah, Ba'ashem YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Just doing a quick walk and talk. Now, YAHAWASHI, when he came on the scene, he was from the nation of Israel, and he was versed in the law, in the testimony, and of the prophets. It said when he was 12 years old, he sat with the priest, and his mother, Mary, found him with the priest. And so he was learning at the age of 12 the scriptures and the scrolls of the prophets and of the law of Moses. So when he became a man and he went on his ministry at the age of 30, he met Nicodemus. And so Nicodemus, he's asking him questions about what's going on, because he's hearing that he is the Son of God. He the Messiah, the one that they was looking for, the prophet. So Nicodemus asked him, how can a man be born again? So YAHAWASHI, he say, well, a man ain't gonna be going back into his mother's womb and be born again. He's gonna be born with spirit and water. Now, when you verse in the law, you understand that spirit is the word. He later on emphasized that in chapter 4 with the lady and the Samaritan woman, that the living water, that the word was going to be living water. And then he emphasized how the spirit was coming from the word, because he said in John 6:63 that the words that I speak to you are spirit and life. So the word was going to be the spirit. And that's why in Daniel 12:9 he said the book was sealed, and the book was going to be open in the time of the end. That means the word was going to be open up. The spirit was going to open up to the prophets and give them the understanding. And so when he was talking to Nicodemus and telling Nicodemus what was going to happen, he pretty much was showing him pretty much the prophecy that was dealing with the nation of Israel. Now when you go into John, let's go into John, see if I can get that. Let's go into John. And look at this situation. John 3. Now he first told him about Moses in the wilderness. He said, verse 14. He said, Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness. Well, he said, and as Moses lifted up the serpent in the wilderness, even so must the Son of Man be lifted up. Because when the children of Israel had came out of Egypt, you had these other nations waiting on them. The Edomites, they was waiting on them. And so they went around Edom, and the Lord sent fiery snakes onto the children of Israel. And he said, anytime a snake bite one of them, if they look upon uh, the brass serpent, they would be healed. And so Yahawashi was using this as an example, um, and pretty much as an allegory for the children of Israel, saying when the children of Israel look to him, they can get salvation. And then in 16, he quoted another situation that was in the scriptures. And I'm going to go to that, because this verse that he quoted is being misrepresented, but it is one of the best verses in the scriptures. Verse Isaiah 45:17, he said, "But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. Yeah, ye shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end." So Israel was promised to have a world that was not going to end, a kingdom. See? And so this is what he was telling Nicodemus. He was reminding him of those instances in the law, because it's rules to what you're supposed to do. When you look at Isaiah 8:20, he said, "To the law and to the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it is because there is no light in them." So the Israelites understood you had to speak according to the word, because they was using the prophet Isaiah. When he went on the Sabbath day to preach, he stood up and he read out of the book of Isaiah. So Isaiah set a precedence of how you operate with this word. And so this is what Yahawashi did when he was on the earth. He did it correctly, and most of the verses that he quoted was out of the Old Testament. See, he wasn't using Paul's letters to teach nobody. And so when you look at how he did things, you get a better understanding, because these people will go into the word and they'll just quote anything with no kind of context. Then look what he told his disciples in Matthew 10. When he told them, sent them out to preach, he said, look at verse 1, he said, "And when he had called unto him the 12 disciples," so he called them out. And then look what he told them to do in verse 5. He said, "These 12 Yahawashi sent forth, and commanded them, saying, Go not into the way of the Gentiles, and into any city of the Samaritans enter ye not." Verse 6, "But go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel." Verse 7, "And as ye go, preach, saying, The kingdom of heaven is at hand." See, he pretty much telling them, your kingdom, your rulership is at hand, because I'm finna lay the foundation for you to get your kingdom. I'm finna give my life for you to get your kingdom. Let's go to John. John chapter 10. No, John chapter 11. Let's get John 11:51. Now the high priest at this time, he was prophesying, pretty much saying, he was talking about the prophecies. Look at 49. It say, "One of them named Caiaphas, being the high priest, that same year, said unto them, Ye know nothing at all." See, he said in verse 50, "Nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man should die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not." 51, he said, "And this spake he not of himself, but being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahawashi shall die for that nation." See, he was giving prophecy. That's another thing people don't understand. They was given prophecy. The high priest understood the law. He understood the prophets. And he understood what? Isaiah 53, that a man was coming to die for the nation. And then verse 52 right here, he said, and not for that nation only, but that also he shall gather together in one the children that were scattered abroad. Who was scattered abroad? The northern kingdom was scattered abroad. Because it was only Judah, Benjamin, and Levi in the kingdom, in Jerusalem at the time, or in the homeland. So it was the other 9 or 10 tribes that had been scattered abroad, and he was going to die for them too. So this is the truth of the Bible, not Christianity or some Muslim copycats of the Bible. It was about the children of Israel only. But I'm going to leave it there. All praises to YAHAWASHI, YAHAWASHI, Ba'ashem Kakadash. Double honor to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.